Starfield is here!
AMD decides to throw shade at Nvidia, but in the wrong department because Nvidia actually beats them too. No.
Oops.
Oh boy. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, September 1st, 2023. Wow is what we have to say, which we're going to talk about why September 1st is a big deal in a second after I remind you we are drawing the winner for this giveaway PC that we got going on over on our Twitch stream at 3 p.m. Eastern today. This has a 7950X, a 7900 XTX Yeston GPU, all in a Deep Cool case, Deep Cool Assassin 4 cooler.
Check that thing out.
In case you want to see a video where we featured all of these parts, you can watch our Deep Cool Assassin 4 sponsored video right up there. But we're giving away this PC today. We'll be announcing our next PC giveaway. So come join us over on our Twitch stream for that. We'd love to have you there. I'll give you a little sneak peek of the next PC we're giving away. We did a video on it recently. You're Reece.
I'm Reece.
He's Reece, and today is Starfield Day if you had the premium edition, because that's when you can now play the game.
Yeah.
And we also got announcements of Elgato partnering up with Starfield, which I swear, I heard them announce this earlier, but they published the press release everywhere yesterday.
That is really confusing because I feel like I saw this
Exactly.
already.
The Elgato Wave 3 and Stream Deck in Starfield edition. You can buy them if you want them, but I don't know. I'm confused that happened.
I have to say, Starfield is going the hardest out of any game I've seen in recent memory with all the like merch and collabs and all that stuff.
Well, it's Bethesda with a new IP and it's Microsoft backing them. Like, obviously they have the budget to go really big and pull a lot of influence to make this happen. But the reviews have come out on them and it is essentially a Bethesda game in space.
Shocker!
There's a mix of reviews out there. You'll like some of it, but no one will enjoy all of it. Starfield is a stellar sci-fi refresh of the Bethesda RPG formula. It has an 88 Metacritic score as of the time of filming, based on 50 reviews. A lot of the reviews are talking about the fact that, yes, if you like Fallout, if you like Skyrim, and you want it in space, this is it.
This is a game for me. I'm not gonna say it'll probably not be my favorite game ever, but I'll enjoy it.
This game is not for me because I don't enjoy Bethesda games in the slightest. Haven't liked a single one that I've ever played.
Dang.
Yeah, but in case you're playing it on AMD, make sure to update to the latest drivers because 23.8.2 is allegedly giving you 16% better gaming performance on Starfield with AMD GPUs. Additionally, there are some like weird bugs where there's a visual corruption issue or driver timeout if you have your dynamic resolution set to 75 to 78% on certain ultra-wide monitors. So
very specific and very odd.
Just be careful. Also, this driver update fixes a DX11 Baldur's Gate 3 crash. So in case you've been experiencing that with AMD GPUs, you should fix that. But in case you're looking to play Starfield this week and you haven't bought the premium edition yet, or you're looking to play it next week when it comes out, you should check out today's video sponsor, Green Man Gaming, because we have a coupon code for you. If you use the code UFD17, you can get 17% off PC games right now. Select PC games are available for this, but in case you were looking at Starfield Premium, you can get 17% off of this, which allows you to play 5 days early, especially when you purchase that edition. You get a few other things with the digital download. But in case you want to wait for the official launch next Wednesday, you can buy the standard edition and still use code UFD17 to save that 17%. Also, there's plenty of good games out there. These are a lot of my favorites that have come over from PlayStation. I enjoy most of these games, 17% off. Additionally, there's games upcoming, Payday 3, Mortal Kombat 1. You can use code UFD17 to make that happen. Green Man Gaming will get you the keys to your game at a very great price, especially with a lot of these discounts that are happening. UFD17 right now to save on Starfield in case you were thinking of picking it up. Big thanks again to Green Man Gaming for sponsoring today's video. And with the launch of Starfield, Bethesda has now officially confirmed that Elder Scrolls 6 is finally in development, despite this getting announced 5 years ago with a trailer.
It can't have been 5 years at this point.
It was 2018, sir.
Oh,
half a decade.
My goodness.
And it's likely half a decade more before it actually releases. I honestly prefer Rockstar's approach to GTA 6. Just say nothing. Just like, if it gets leaked, crap, but like, this is... that was way too early teased, and Todd Howard has acknowledged that the wrong move, especially in retrospect. Oh boy.
Yikes.
But CD Projekt Red also confirming that with the launch of the Phantom Liberty expansion of Cyberpunk 2077, they have no new developments happening for Cyberpunk 2077, and they'll be shifting most of the team onto the next generation Witcher game, which is exciting. Additionally, there's supposed to be a sequel at some point for Cyberpunk 2077. We'll see if they start announcing that. And while I'm excited for all those games, I'm also excited for something that I definitely won't get. I just wanted to bring it up because it looks so freaking cool. Galax coming out with the Metaltop AIO water-cooled 4090. This thing looks incredible. Look at that top plate.
What is going on?
It's such a small PCB on a 4090. It's got a 360 rad for cooling. This feels like a continuation of their Hall of Fame line, but in a tiny version.
Spiritual successor in a way.
Well, they also still have the Hall of Fame, so it's not. It's not. There's no. It's just. It exists. I like it, and a lot of people seem to like the foldables that Samsung has been selling lately because they've come out and talked about the fact that they have outsold the Note series, especially with the Note series in Europe specifically. The annual sales of their foldable devices have exceeded those. This is not really a surprise. Samsung got rid of the Note series in favor of the Ultra series, just because I guess they weren't selling a whole lot, but it does seem like foldables are the way of the future, which we actually have a video coming out this weekend.
Hey, yo.
Kyler got his first foldable, isn't that right?
What?
You got your first foldable.
Foldable what?
He's impossible sometimes.
Foldable what?
Also, you know what else is impossible? Messing up transitions to UFD deals.
Welcome back to Deals. Starting off today, we have the...
It's called UFD deals, you miscreant.
No. Starting off today, we have the Lian Li 011 Air mini PC case going for only $90.99 with the coupon applied, making it $19 off.
That's a good price. The mini case can actually fit a full ATX motherboard, which is
it seems
so
strange, right?
Yeah. Also, your cadence on that was weird. You called it the 011 mini PC.
Yeah, I had
and
to
it's the 011 mini, sir.
And then next we have the Royal Kludge M75 mechanical gaming keyboard with silver switches, and it's got a little cool OLED display in it, a little rotary knob, and all that going for only $89.99.
A knob and a display? What are silver switches?
Oh, silver switches are like a weird combination switch. I love the feel of silver switches.
What describe it to me? Linguistically serenade me on these bad boys.
They're nice.
Fantastic.
Just like
Thank
this
you.
next deal, which is the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4 CPU air cooler, which is going for only $73.90 with the included promo code, making it $16 off.
Good deals. And now,
Switch.
well, Reece, I can guarantee you none of this is going to be cheap. Razer announcing that they made a 24 karat gold Viper signature mini gaming mouse.
Why?
They don't have a list price,
I'm sure they don't.
but it exists.
You have to be in like
RazerCon's
ultimate.
coming up in September, so.
You have to be ultimate baller mode to actually get one.
Well, like
Something
Linus
this.
did the solid gold Xbox. I don't know. That doesn't appeal to me much, right?
No.
Like, maybe it's the millennial in me, but I don't care for gold.
Yeah, gold's like.
Like, once Nixon took us off the gold standard, who cares anymore? But a lot of people cared about the Oscilloscope Watch,
The
which
what
was
now?
It was launched on Kickstarter 10 years ago, and they
What?
just finally started delivering.
No!
Which is hilarious, right? Because usually if you go 10 years, you're never getting your product. But this Oscilloscope Watch is both a watch and, as the name would imply, an oscilloscope if you plug in the little plugs to get it to oscilloscope.
What the frick is this thing?
It exists. It's a really weird mishmash of 3D prints, and
It's got a NATO strap.
it's got a USB-C charge. Let me know if you support the Kickstarter for the Oscilloscope Watch, because I never heard of this, and it's kind of funny that it took them a decade to ship it. It's not a dead project technically. And VanMoof, the e-bike company, is VanMoof. This is an e-bike company. The reason I'm talking about this is because one of the things that we're getting into with the Internet of Things is that when servers go offline, you might lose access to some specific items. And that was actually going to happen with VanMoof bikes because they require connection to the cloud to operate.
Uh-oh.
You can't even work them as a regular bicycle if they're not unlocked. It's a wild situation. And they declared bankruptcy last month, but it turns out that they're getting bought out, making it so that they can still keep all of that serviceable. But this is
wild.
Physical objects being cloud locked is a ridiculous notion.
I don't like that in the slightest.
You're saved for now, but I would highly recommend considering different choices. Digital goods going bye-bye.
More reasonable, a bike getting locked up because it can't sync with the cloud is just the weirdest feature I don't want.
Yeah, well, YouTube's also rolling out a weird feature with YouTube Music because they're making it so you can comment on the songs, videos that you're listening to. It now makes it so you can do that. Number one, who comments on YouTube videos? We'll have comment response in a little bit. But number two, when you're listening to music, who gets the compulsion to be like, you know what, I gotta leave a comment on
I gotta let them know that the mix on this sucks.
Oh, you went negative.
Yeah.
I was thinking you'd praise the music.
Have you ever seen YouTube comments?
That's true. I have. Oh, speaking of negativity, Twitter is coming out and talking about all of their future plans. They want to collect so much of your data, saying that based on your consent, they may collect and use your biometric information for safety, security, and identification purposes. But on top of that, with a privacy policy that will go into effect towards the end of September, Twitter may collect and use your personal information, such as your employment history, educational history, employment preferences, skills and abilities, job search activity and engagement, and so on, to recommend potential jobs for you to share with potential employers when you apply for a job, to enable employers to find potential candidates and to show you more relevant advertising.
What the heck?
They're trying to become LinkedIn or like Indeed for jobs, which I'm not going to knock Twitter's benefit on being able to get people employment, because connecting on Twitter has always been the key strength that it is.
Yeah.
But switching it towards a more professional platform, I feel transitions it away from what made it so good, which that
yes,
I feel like that's a general consensus opinion that people aren't happy with the direction that Twitter's trending. They also want to offer video and audio calls.
As a little addendum.
Yeah, they want you to use it. Elon wants Twitter to be the everything app. You can do, there's like banking stuff that's supposed to be coming. There was rumors of an X coin, which got shot down by some Twitter devs, but it doesn't seem like he's going to stop.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many new features it's going to take of people not using it for him to get a hint. Or maybe we're all wrong and people are going to love it.
What if X is the future?
And what if 16-pin power connectors are the future? AMD didn't think so, but it turns out, according to Scott Herkelman, they were considering it for the 7800 and 7700 XT. They weren't considering it for the other GPUs that they've already launched, but they said that they removed it from the plan for these GPUs that are launching next week, and that was a purposeful removal. You shouldn't blame end users for your issues you have. Throwing a little shade at Nvidia. You should catch and own any problems, just like we did with the vapor chamber issue. I was all over social media because I felt like it was AMD's problem and I was going to own it. I take massive exception to that. Scott Herkelman, if you happen to be watching, you taking ownership on social media for a product defect where your customer isn't necessarily on social media and you don't alert them to the fact that they were having problems, and instead you made it so that they had to go find information elsewhere about it, isn't a dunk on anybody. It's actually bad practices. As a 7900 XTX purchaser, I don't get review samples from AMD. I bought it off of the website, and I was not alerted a single time that there may have been a problem with my card and that I could have checked my serial number against their database to know if I was in the batch. Instead, I had to dig all that information up myself. Owning it on social media and not communicating with the customers who paid money isn't owning anything. It's not real. It's this weird facsimile of what real life could be, and you owning it there doesn't actually mean you did right by the customer.
The AMD approach.
He continued on to say, until this power issue is cleaned up and there's good confidence it's working correctly for end users, that's where you'll start to see us incorporated into our planning. Again, the 16-pin power connector, not good vapor chamber coolers. The ability for someone to say it's an end user's fault is a little strange to AMD and definitely strange to me. But considering we have those new GPUs launching next week, we are getting some leaked benchmarks coming out of the 7700 XT, the cheaper one coming in at $449, and it turns out that it performs pretty admirably admirably in Time Spy. Now, so we have this revised screenshot of GPU-Z, but it does seem like it could potentially be the card, and the 7700 XT got very close to the RTX 4070 in terms of Time Spy performance and beat out the 6800 quite considerably, but still did not come in range of the 6800 XT, but for $449, it's still too expensive. This needs to be $399 compared to the 7800 XT, but they don't want you to buy the 77. They want you to buy the 7800 because for $499, that's such a good deal. That should beat out the 6800 XT. I'm excited to see where the benchmarks come for that one. But AMD also talking about how they are working on efficiency when it comes to their GPUs, but they also think that it's not super important because it matters to some people, doesn't matter to other people as much. We definitely want to make a better performance per watt chip. Power is definitely a prime initiative. You'll see us over time get better and better at it. We need to catch up. There are still bugs that we need to fix. Idle power is one of them. We believe there is a driver fix on its way. It's a wonky one, actually. I mean, AMD fully announcing that they have wonky driver setups. I'm not shocked.
Yeah, it feels a little weird to say out loud.
But also, like, this is a very different change in marketing strategy, because the thing that I remember Lisa Su and Raja Kadori hammering home about Polaris was performance per watt. They literally did not let you not hear that phrase. And now that we're a few generations down, they've lost that crown, and they're like, it matters. It was our key marketing strategy a while ago, but now for some people,
who cares? Only little. Yeah.
It also says that they're going to get better at ray tracing, but it seems like AMD might need to focus on getting better at server CPUs. They have been the king when it comes to the EPYC chips for a very long time, but now reports, at least from Nvidia, are coming out on Nvidia's Grace CPU. And the numbers, again, according to Team Green themselves, so take it with a massive tablet of salt, are that they crush AMD's Genoa and beat Intel's Sapphire Rapids up to 2 times the performance with their 144 ARM V9 cores, their 1 terabyte of total memory bandwidth of LPDDR5X, 900 gigabytes per second of coherent interface, faster than PCI Express Gen 5 by 7 times. They beat it that way in performance per watt. At the same power draw, they are nearly double in a lot of different applications. Again, these are applications that Nvidia chose, but when it comes to server environments, being better in performance per watt is essentially everything.
Saving thousands of dollars down the line.
Exactly. Not just in the actual chips that you need to have and the cooling that's on top of that, but also building infrastructure where you don't need to cool as much, or you can get more chips in it for the same air conditioning budget. But with the benchmarks that were shown, it turns out that Nvidia does actually match in not just performance per watt, but just straight up raw performance.
Interesting.
In some cases, they were 40% better than AMD's chips, but for the most part, they were even with AMD. But again, 640 watts to run AMD's chips, 500 watts to run Nvidia's chips. This could spell a new change where AMD's crown jewel, their big money winner, the thing that they've been really beating Intel at, they're now going to get upstaged by the company that, number one, has better benchmarks than them, but then number two, also packages this with an AI accelerator card. You can get Grace either CPU plus CPU or CPU plus GPU, and if you're getting AI acceleration out of it too, this puts AMD in a really tight bind.
Especially considering so many people are going to be switching to AI, at least when they get the chance. That's a mighty impressive package from Nvidia. Hoo boy.
Yep. All right, well, let's hoo boy on over to the comments. We have comment response. Let's see what y'all had to say about yesterday's episode of Hot News, where we discussed MSI not selling AMD cards. That's what it was about. 28th Magic King saying, looks like Nvidia would rather threaten / bribe their partners than be competitive. This has been a long-standing confirmed issue that Nvidia has done it. It is not confirmed that they are doing it now, but they have.
There's a history.
There. Yes. Cyburn says the Nintendo hate is strong, and I'm here for it. Well, good. There's a lot here. They took down our entire YouTube channel, especially back in 2020, where I needed every single cent that was coming in, or else I couldn't take care of my son's medical needs. I was not happy.
That was a scary time.
Right now, we could survive being taken down for a week on the main channel, but that was a bad time back then. Oh, I'll tell you. Cameron says, Catlin never disappoints with the transition. Well, let's find out if she did today. I'm actually curious how it's going to turn out.
Yesterday's one was funny.
Can we just get some praise for Catlin in the comments? She does a really great job at editing these videos. Getting out hot news every single weekday is a team effort, right? Like, it requires me to do work, it requires you to do work.
Considering she makes us look good.
She does transform what is a raw package into something at least
raw is
presentable.
the right word.
A Murder of Crow says, I fought against Nintendo in 2015 or so, and I'm in the same boat as far as being severely disappointed in them. I'm not mad. I'm just severely disappointed. The week where we were settling, the Switch EULA was leaked, and it was the exact same messaging that the Wii U EULA was, which was the whole problem. I don't know what that means specifically with regards to your side of it, but we all are on the anti-Nintendo bandwagon here.
They're not in good graces at this point, but...
Spoon Hunter says, I love me a good conspiracy theory, but I think that GPU sales are just insanely low, and AMD had around 10% market share. Why rush out products? Plus, MSI sort of dodged the bad 7900 XTX launch when AMD couldn't make a functional cooling solution for its own reference design they had for months longer than partners. I agree. You know, that the non-conspiracy route is usually pretty good. Hanlon's Razer applies here, obviously. I think MSI didn't really dodge anything with the reference coolers because that was very clearly like on AMD. If MSI had made their own coolers,
wouldn't have been an issue.
It wouldn't have been an issue because it wasn't with the third-party stuff. It was just with what AMD made themselves. I don't think the XTX launch was super marred for other companies because of that, but I do agree AMD doesn't have huge market share. That's a good thought. Thank you. I didn't communicate that in Hot News yesterday. This is why we do comment response. People like you keep us in check to make sure our brains are working on the right section. Acer247 says, thank you, UFD Tech. Thanks to your speed of news delivery, I managed to put money in the Nvidia stock just before the rise. I've soon earned my third theoretical 4090 card in just Nvidia stock. I won't buy one, even though I can afford 3, as I'd rather wait for the dip than sell and pay off a chunk of my student debt. Don't use us for financial advice.
I was about to say.
That's terrifying. Are you kidding me?
I'm glad that you got a win there, but holy cow, don't.
I want you to take away that we try to bring news that is easy, accessible for you to digest while you consume breakfast. But this is not a money show.
Hashtag not financial advice.
Not in the slightest. I'm scared now. And then Richard Frank saying, could you make a video mansplaining the difference between DisplayPort 2.0 and 2.1? Why is it better for AMD? Why does Nvidia pretend it doesn't exist? I can't do a whole video, but I'll do it right now. It's not better for AMD. There are no displays that support it. There will be displays that are coming out in the future, so it's technically future-proof, but the big problem there is that, honestly, it's not like your card's gonna run any faster because you have DisplayPort 2.1. HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 1.4 are honestly sufficient for the power that we have right now. The 4090 doesn't really even get close to maxing out what connectors you have, so why does the 7900 XTX pretend that it's better for being able to do that? Yeah, you can get more FPS at 8K, but really? Are you playing at 8K? How many 8K gaming monitors are there? How expensive are they?
Here's my explanation. 2.1 bigger number, therefore good.
Oh, he's right. Never mind. Forget everything I said. And don't forget about us, though, because we'll be back on Monday with more of the hottest tech news. I don't know if you will, because you haven't told me when you're leaving yet. One day, he just won't be here in the office, and that'll be a sad day for us all.
Surprise!
See you next week, friends.